99.7 The Fox. What's going on, man? It's E. White. You know, the game of football continues to grow here in the state of Carolina, in the state of North Carolina and South Carolina, of course, with the, just the success of the Carolina Panthers, but even more so at the younger levels and especially with girls flag football. Right now, we got Riley Fields on, the Director of Community Relations for the Panthers. Riley, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, Eric. Great to be with you. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, just a historic day coming up. And of course, some great things. And we are so excited for the future of girls flag football here in the state of North Carolina. For anybody who's maybe not aware of what's going on right now, give them a little rundown of what's been going on and the behind the scenes and ultimately what's happening now.
Yeah, really, we're in an amazing moment in time as in the state of North Carolina as girls high school flag football is now an officially sanctioned varsity sport as voted on by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association Board on Wednesday. And what that means basically is that now girls high school flag football is an official varsity sport. Girls are going to be able to play for state championships for their school. And what's really the biggest part of that is the new access and opportunities that the sanctioning designation is going to provide girls and young women in our region to compete in the sport of flag football.
Well, and you think about just the growth of women's sports over the past, 10 years even. I think about, when I was coming up and obviously girls sports in high school, it was like if you weren't playing basketball, field hockey, or soccer, it was it. And now it's just like the way that we've been able to see the evolution of women's sports, girls sports, not just, at the higher level, but now at the younger level. I mean, how important was this to get done for you guys? And how important was it for you to be on this mission?
Yeah, so thanks for asking that. We really started this journey about 4.5 years ago, and I'll go back to my previous statement that is really driven off of the idea of providing access and opportunities for girls and young women to the game of flag football. And you gave examples of other sports that girls play, but the sport of football had been, they're sort of locked out from the greatest game there is.
Yeah.
And so what this journey that we've been on to get it to the sanctioning point that we're at today has been really gratifying, because the thing that we've learned across the state is that girls want to play, and the enthusiasm and energy around it is really, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. And so, going into the 26-27 school year, we currently have 155 high schools across the state committed to play. With this new sanctioning vote, we're anticipating that number to jump. And then as we get, years down the line, we think it's just going to become ubiquitous like any other sport, softball, soccer, volleyball that girls have played. But now you're giving them the opportunity to play football. And one of the things that has been really interesting to see, just surveys from the different districts around the region that are playing are showing that between 25 and 50% of all the girls that are currently competing, it's the first time that they've ever competed in a school sport. And so now you're talking not just about offering the sport, but you're getting girls plugged in and engaged in high school at a completely different level. One of the conversations we had with a district athletic director, he said, I've got half the girls that are out here playing, they've never even been on a team before. They're learning just how to be on a team and what being a teammate means. And so when you talk about just those types of foundational changes and impacts on girls, it's really wild. But I think it's just the opportunity to compete and play in a sport that girls want to compete in, that before the door has been closed on them. I keep using the word transformational because I think that's exactly what it is.
I mean, you said it there. I mean, just the fact that these are girls who have never played an organized sport before that now feel like they have a home. It's
Yes.
like creating that home is so massive. And, when we think about just like the way, the growth of various different sports, of course, flag football about to be an Olympic sport as well.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like this is huge. And,
Yeah.
as you see the vision of this all come together and you think about, Bank of America Stadium, and you think about these stadiums that hold the high school tournaments for the boys.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden that could be a backdrop for the girls. How gratifying is that for you and the
100%.
organization?
It's super gratifying, and I think, one of the great things about this effort over the past 4.5 years has been the great relationships and partnerships that we've been able to establish with school districts and schools, and even all the way down to the individual players across the two-state region. And when we've, as part of our investment into the growth of the sport, and over the past 4.5 years, we've put about $1.5 million into both grant funding, uniforms, equipment kits, events, and other resources to help build that support structure for schools to thrive. But it's when you talk about the opportunity to play in Bank of America Stadium, similar to what we do with high school football, and coming up here in a couple weeks, we will host the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools Conference Championship Tournament, and to be able to let girls experience being on that stage and feeling the bigness of what football can be is certainly that's a gratifying part of it. But I think the bigger piece of that, when you were talking about the gratification, is the fulfillment of knowing that I use the term transformational change, but it's also generational. And so knowing that what the girls who have been playing in these pilot programs across the region for the past 4 years and sort of being the trailblazers for the girls coming behind them, and now being able to see the fruits of their labor come to fruition, where now they're able to play for state championships. Now let's look into the future. You've got a 10-year-old girl who's out there right now that doesn't know that in a few years she's going to be playing for her high school and playing for state championships. So it's that looking into the future and how it's going to continue to grow, and the positive ripple effects that it's going to have on girls in our region, just through the experience of playing, the experience of being part of a team, the experience of representing your high school, creating a pathway for them to compete in a new way. It's really fulfilling to have been part of that success as to where we are today.
Well, and you think about just even, you say that, how it builds into the future. And like here it is 5-10 years from now even. And, you think about it, kids growing up without the WNBA. And like, maybe they were, girls basketball players. Right. It's like they had Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, whoever to look up to. Now it's like Sabrina Ionescu and Caitlin Clark, Brianna Stewart. It's like they have actual idols they can look up to. And now they'll be able to have that down the road.
And a couple of additional things in that. With certainly we're well aware that the Olympics in 28, women's flag is going to be one of the sports in the 28 Olympics. So you're going to start seeing national name recognition for some of these players. Additionally, when you talk about the growth, what's happening at the collegiate level in our region. You've got some conferences that are leading the way for growth at the collegiate level, with Conference Carolinas just completing their first season of varsity play. They were the first Division I or Division II conference in the country to play women's varsity flag. The Big South Conference, on the heels of that, has announced that they're going to begin varsity play in the spring of 28. So that makes them the first Division I conference in the country to step up to the plate. The CIAA conference has followed suit. They're going to begin varsity play in spring of 28. So now you're talking about additional pathways for girls, not only to play in high school, but now to potentially continue that education pathway through college and actually get scholarships through the sport of flag football. And so, we're really excited to support that continued growth. This morning we had a really exciting announcement from the David and Nicole Tepper Foundation, in which they've pledged an additional $1 million in grant funding to help support that growth at the high school level here in North and South Carolina. And so, our commitment is I'm going to say is in perpetuity, because we're here to support that ongoing growth, and are really grateful for the Teppers' support to provide resources to help that happen.
Absolutely. We're talking to Riley Fields here, of course, the Director of Community Relations for the Carolina Panthers. Riley, before we let you go, North Carolina is now the 21st state to have this sanctioned as a varsity sport in high schools.
Actually, it's the 22nd. New Jersey just jumped in on Monday ahead of us. So
shout out Jersey.
Yeah, right.
Well, there you go. Well, Jersey might have beat you to the punch, but regardless, 28 states are still out there and still waiting on this. Certainly not to stir the pot here, but what is your message for those that are maybe not quite there yet and not quite at that point?
Yeah, well, I think as we've learned just in North Carolina, it's a process, and every state has a different process. South Carolina, the growth down there right now is dynamic, and we think in the not too distant future they're going to also be in a similar position as North Carolina. But I think the more states that are sanctioning, it creates momentum. It creates a domino effect, and I think each state, really what you need is a champion. You need someone to advocate. You need someone to start pilot programs to give girls a chance to prove it and to prove that they want to play. And the analogy I use, the energy around this thing from the girls, it's like if you've ever seen a dry Fraser fir Christmas tree catch on fire. That is the energy that's around this thing. It just needs someone to light the match, and so I think that's really what it takes, is just someone to step up in these states that maybe it has not really taken off yet, and give the girls a chance because they want to play. And we're so thrilled that in our region they're getting that opportunity.
Be that match that starts that fire. I think that's the message here. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Get the fire going and get everybody excited. Girls flag football is here to stay, especially here in the great state of North Carolina. Riley, thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to seeing, I think all of us look forward to seeing what the future of this is here in our great state and then beyond.
Great. Thanks for the time, Eric.